Hail, adventurer! I am Bruin the Bard, spinner of stories, seeker of adventure. Allow me to welcome you to the Caelid Coast, haven to the wise and wicked. These brave soldiers, the finest of the Alfar armies. They escorted me all the way from Melsenshir to these verdant lands. Alas, our journey together has come to an end. But there is still adventure to be had, so join me. If not, then I bid you fair warning. Your journey shall be far less exciting without this storyteller at hand. Ah, yes. It has been nearly a decade since I have told tales for an audience, and I seek to reclaim that trade. These soldiers have been of no help. Fight, fight, fight. That's all they think about. So please, let me regale you with tales of the Caelid Coast. I will make sure your time is well spent, and there may even be a twist at the end. A wise question, and a fair one. As Bard of the Gastia Court, I know all the tales of the Caelid Coast, of how this great land rose and fell, and became what it is now. Allow me the pleasure of your company, and I will lead you through these luxuriant lands, spinning stories of times long since past. I had a good feeling about you. Someone who cherishes a good story. Let us proceed. The first stop on our tour begins across the bridge behind me. Alas, there is one small problem. That area is favored by our enemies. If you can clear the area of them, I will follow and join you. We must clear the spot ahead of Bolgan. is a famous place, and they sully it with their presence and their stench. Brune was the name given to me by my mother, a lovely daughter of the full moon. A skin like the glow of alabastra. Long ago, I was the court bard of Castle Gastier, the teller of tales, the spinner of stories. But when the Bolgan invaded, well, they had no need of my expertise. The wonderful gentlemen and ladies of the Alpha armies have been kind enough to act as my loyal escorts, all the way from Melsenshire, and before that, Erethel. Without these good, hearty folk, I never would have survived. The voyage across the sea would have been enough to sink my spirits. Lord Aaron Gastier was a very wealthy lord and a powerful landowner. I don't care to speak much more on the subject, thank you. This lush land was once the royal domain of two great Alpha families, the Ancillas and the Gastiers, the most powerful of bloodlines and the most bitter of enemies. For centuries, the two houses warred over the coast. So enamored were they with each other that they blinded themselves to the real threat. And so the Bolgan came and conquered. The houses fell before them. One might say they were toppled by their pride. Goodbye.
Be on your guard. Well, I expected to see a lot of things out here in Caelid, but not the hero of Melsenshire. What brings you this far south? I am Sergeant Odai, twice decorated officer and now civilian escort. I guess you could say that I'm really working my way up the chain of command. Oh, I never should have ended up here. My family's ship was tossed into the cliffs during a storm, and I was the only survivor. The Ancillas saved me. They raised me as one of their own. I may not be native to these lands, but they are the closest thing I've ever had to a home. No one has called me by my given name in years. I'm just Sergeant now. Been that way for a long while. I used to be a healer, but lost my gifts when the war came. Something about all the carnage, the death, it bled the magic right out of me. So I took up a sword. It was all I could do. We all need to carry our own weight in this tragedy, and mine is to fight. I have allowed 2 citizens to travel within my unit, which I probably should not do. But I have a weakness for those in need. Guess it comes from my past as a healer. Oh, Brune the Bard is not so bad. I actually knew him as a kid, if you can believe that. He's a little excitable, but harmless. I cannot say the same about Alof the Hunter. Strange sort, that one. He insists on staying outside our camp. Says we stand in the way of his quarry. To each his own. Goodbye. Hello. My Gran told me bedtime stories about the Ancilla and Gastier families. All of them terrifying. I heard a rumor that the Gastier heir is still alive, and that she is in the army. Wouldn't that be something? This forest is where General Finn was last seen with his advance unit. I wonder if he's still alive somewhere. I heard a rumor that the Gastier heir is still alive. Oh, there are plenty of creepy tales about the Caelid coast.
Excellent work. You are clearly much more proficient in the ways of war than most visitors of the Kaled Coast, even the soldiers. It would be my great pleasure. Picture it. 10 years ago, the rising sun, a lingering fog. Somewhere in the forest are screams, the cries of battle. Then, silence. It happened here upon this site. The ambush of Gorn Akri. It is here on this spot where the Bolgan drew first blood, killing Lord Eren Gastir, his son, and their squires during their morning ride. Let us move on, shall we? And if you don't mind, there are more beasts to attend to ahead. The Bolgan have infested the entire area around Castle Gastir, my old home. Destroy them, and I will relate the tale of the first Lord of Gastir himself. Goodbye. You have done it. You have rid the gates of the Bolgan. As promised, I have another tale to be told. The very first Eren Gastir arrived here generations ago from Mel Senshir, before the final tower was raised, when the great giants of Cluracan were but saplings. On that very first morning of his arrival, while the sun ascended the sky, Gastir scaled the heights and saw below him the great keep of the merchant Ancilla. Gastir could not bear such an intrusion on his new ancestral homeland, and swore an oath. By right of mine, and sword in hand, I will not forsake our native land. Now that you've seen Castle Gastir, we should move on to the final stop on our journey. The last thing I want to show you is near the coast, on the cliffs overlooking the sea. It's the best story yet, but again, it must be freed of Bolgan. Goodbye.
Oh. Through the woods and mountainside, through the hollows and green meadow, through the summer, winter, day and night, through the hallowed halls of seasons.
There, you've cleansed this place of the Bolgan. I shall tell you the last tale, the best of the lot. Believe me, these cliffs were made for my story. I've told the tale of the first Erengustir, he who discovered these lands, and I've told the tale of his descendant, the last Erengustir, he who lost these lands. My final tale is that this last lord took a young mistress to his bed, a servant named Wilda Brandon. They had a child he refused to claim as his own. To assuage his guilt, he wrote a royal letter in which he decreed to her and the child great wealth. But rather than take that letter, she took her own life. Here, that woman was my mother. Hear me, friend. I do not have much, but I will offer you all that I have to find me that letter. The letter that broke my mother's heart. I will read it, and I will finally know if what my mother told me was true. Then I will destroy it. I want nothing to do with Augustius. My mother never wanted his kingdom. She only wanted his love. That letter has haunted me for 10 years. I will now be rid of it. Of him. Friends. Yes. I suppose we are friends. I'm not sure where to look for Father's letter. Father. Strange to call him that. I would think he'd keep it near, lest such revelations be discovered. The castle. That would make some sense, wouldn't it? I'll be back at camp. Be careful. I would feel terrible if anything happened to you. I remember my father having a chest near his throne. I always assumed it was where he kept his mother's personal possessions. Goodbye.
Stay. If you need anything, just say the word. Command would want me to do all I can for you. Farewell.
You have gone through much to bring me this, only to watch it destroyed. But it must be done. You understand? This letter proves that I am an heir to Gastir, and an heir to his heartlessness. He gave my mother everything, when all she wanted was his love. And now, she's gone. You are my friend. You may not agree, but that is what I choose to believe. You have helped me more than anyone has. I will remember you. I hope you will remember me. Farewell.